Welcome back to Verticon in Dallas 2025. I'm here with Peter Fuchs from Ascent AeroSystems, and we're here to talk about a really exciting range of I hate the word drones, I don't know if you like the word drones as well, of autonomous air systems. Obviously a really hot topic, a really hot button, what's going on in the world at the moment. The use of drones is metaphorically and literally exploding as we speak. Production rates are going up, so really interested to hear on what your thoughts are about products you've got, where the market's going, and what comes next.
Sure, absolutely. So we got started about 10 years ago. We were kind of the end of the first wave of the crowd-funded consumer drones. Transitioned pretty quickly after that. Our first product was the Spirit. The Spirit is a 13.5-pound coaxial drone. All of our drones are coaxials, which have these two rotors, which are much more aerodynamically efficient. We can fly further, faster, farther, and carry more than a comparable quadcopter. Sold a lot of these, very modular. It can be used for traditional things like search and rescue, public safety applications, also in the defense space as well. We have two kinds of customers, those that operate the drones themselves and those that use our airframes to integrate them into other systems of systems. Today we're introducing the HELIUS. We're going small rather than big. Drones are good for two things, collecting information and moving things from A to B. When you're collecting information, smaller is better. Yeah. And so the HELIUS is 249 grams or less than 250.
That's the
important
thing. There you go,
very good. 12 megapixel 4K low light sensor. It's fully integrated, and this can fly for at 45 miles an hour and at least 30 minutes. It's going to be way more than that, but the engineers are making me say that for now. It's got an onboard Voxel 2 mini computer, so it's AI enabled. We can do things like obstacle avoidance right out of the box. We can do navigation where GPS is not available, and we can do object classification and tracking as well. So the HELIUS is kind of a whole thing all in a small package.
And who do you see as a user community for HELIUS?
Well, it really depends. We like to, so the first version is actually cellular connectivity. So 4G LTE connection, that's not a military application, probably not even a government application for a lot of use cases. So it's really for the really the industrial base to start. It's essentially a AI-enabled IoT node in the sky. It's a camera in the sky, and with
Internet
it,
of Things.
Internet of Things. Yeah. So you can essentially create these really scalable, large networks of autonomous systems using a drone like this.
And so I'm assuming with the onboard AI capability, you're looking at these developing swarm-like tendencies, and I mean proper swarm tendencies, i.e. the swarm deciding what it's going to do rather than just flying the same way the same day.
That's right. So since it's got its own processor on board, there's lots of user-defined capabilities in it, things like swarming and things like that, that can be essentially established on the drone to help it to run the mission that the customer ultimately needs it to run.
Okay, so it's got an embedded small 12 megapixel camera, as you
That's
said.
right.
Is that payload interchangeable for any other sensors or any other capabilities?
No, it's not interchangeable on this version.
Right.
We're solving for weight. 249 grams is really hard to do.
Really challenging.
And you're pulling every gram apart. As soon as you start talking about a modular capability, you're adding weight. Now the battery compartment up on top likely will have some options where things like remote ID here in the States, with or without, so things like that are probably going to be modular up top.
And obviously you said you've started off with an LTE 4G network, and you're going to progress that probably to something a little bit more military state applicable?
Well, it depends on the customer's application. Like the Spirit and the NX30, these are platforms. So we essentially can make them do whatever a customer needs them to do. So next up is probably one of the RF frequencies that are common in the civil space or the defense space, and then also an EO/IR camera as well.
Yeah, to give you that ability to operate at night, and that's
exactly.
Again, I think you're leveraging the advancements in phone technology where it's ridiculous, frankly, the capability you can get in a phone now, and especially in terms of astonishingly night vision capability. It's getting smaller and smaller, isn't it?
It's pretty incredible. This is a Sony sensor. It's a standard around the world, and it's going to do a great job on this camera.
Fantastic. And going back to the larger one, obviously we hear a lot about the use of drones in combat. One-way effectors is definitely one of the phrases of the day I'm hearing in my day job working inside various military organizations. I presume that the modularized payload enables you to make that a one-way effector, should that be the mission it's required for.
So we don't make weapons, we never will. Our partners will purchase our platforms for all kinds of applications, and some of those will be defense applications, it's a complicated world.
It's a complicated world. And you see that's effectively something a soldier or even a maintenance engineer looking at carries in his pocket. I need a bit of 3D perspective. Can you tie it to like a mobile phone or an iPad or
That's
something
right.
like that?
That's right. Since it's connected to the internet, you can essentially fly it and you can control it anywhere there's an internet connection, right? One of the applications we like to talk about here is even on helicopters. A helicopter pilot can put that in his kit. He's out in the outback, he lands somewhere, he's got a fog deck, maybe he can launch the drone and see, well, how widespread is that fog really? Yeah. Things like that. So there's lots of different applications that things like this enable.
And again, the bigger one, that's the sort of thing I could drop out the side of my helicopter and have it flying in front of me, 500 yards in front, looking for obstructions, looking for wires, looking for all those things that...
A lot more than 500 yards. It can fly a couple miles, absolutely. Okay. And you can drop a couple at the same time. That's actually part of the roadmap for our product portfolio as we integrate crewed and uncrewed assets.
Yeah.
You can see with the R88, there's a big flat door on the back. Lots of applications there.
You can almost put those in what would be a modified sonar buoy launcher. So you just got things that just roll out, gravity out the back, and away they go. I'm thinking sort of pipeline inspections, power line inspections. The drone goes out, covers a number of them. The manned platform only goes if it finds something.
That's right.
You need to go and look at that one rather than have to hover next to every pylon for 5 minutes and use a thermal camera and everything else.
Exactly.
The helicopter only goes to the one where the drone says, hey, I think there's a problem here.
Exactly. And that's where the cylindrical form factor really helps too, because we can launch them from tubes.
Yeah.
They're easier to store, they're easier to transport. There's much more of a much smaller logistics footprint with this smaller drone.
Yeah, I think we get wrapped up in the phrase launched effector, thinking it has to be a weapon. And actually, a lot of the launch effectors I see as being future crewed, uncrewed aspects of helicopters are going to be that route recce, that obstruction recce, landing site recce before you get there. So you're not wasting time and money, in some cases, having to do a full route recce and landing site recce because you've got a couple of these out. You just land and pick them up and carry on the next go.
That's right. And there's examples we use on the public safety side. For example, we'd like to really try to make high-speed car chases end. We're working on some things around that, but if you think about how those are operated today, there's a helicopter chasing a car, it eventually stops somewhere, and then everybody scatters from the car. There's usually more than one person in it. And the helicopter that's been pursuing it has to stay on the car and the driver. Now you can launch effectors and you can go and you can find those, or you can actually chase those other guys before they go and steal the next car. So that's an example we like to use too.
So fantastic, great to see new products being brought to Verticon. I'll get all sorts of trouble for that. And nice to see on the Robinson stand, the yin and the yang of the R88 moving on up, and this bringing things right down to that sub 250 gram category. Anything else you'd like to discuss with us today?
No, we're thrilled to be part of the Robinson family. We really think this is the beginning of a new age for the vertical industry, and we couldn't be prouder.
It's lovely to see the industry, the vertical lift industry, being vertically integrated, isn't it?
That's right.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for your time.
Pleasure, Paul. Thank you.
Pleasure talking
Likewise.
to you.
Thank
Cheers.
you.